Quando saí lá da Bahia, minha terra.
Hi, this is Sereia, and I'm here with Mestre Acordeon. Mestre Acordeon is one of the key fundamental parts of capoeira heritage, with over 6 decades of capoeira experience, numerous DVDs, CDs. He's one of the key promoters of capoeira outside Brazil, author, philanthropist, teacher, musician. So it's a very big honor to be here with you, Mestre, today and to hear a little bit about yourself.
I don't know if I agree with you, but it is a pleasure for me to be here and do something for you, for capoeira. I feel very touched when I see people interested in capoeira, history, traditions, what capoeira is, etc. So,
Thank you very much. Well, could you tell us a little bit about your story? Who is Mestre Acordeon? A little bit about your work and what makes you proud of?
I think that mestre acordeon is me.
Yes.
I'm not sitting vice versa, so perhaps I am mestre acordeon, I don't know. What I wanted to know, I was born in Bahia, Salvador, Bahia, a long time ago, 1943, and the Bahia was a wonderful place 50 years ago, and it changed completely recently. But I grew up in that secluded paradise, surrounded by a beautiful sea, green waters, warm, 80 Fahrenheit degrees all year round.
Yeah.
It was very good. And I was born in the surroundings of Salvador, not too far from downtown, but in a place in which, in the time that Salvador had the houses and everything in the top of the hills, and the valleys was just a jungle. And that's where I grew up, what I see, one city, let's say 80% African Brazilian, that was one of the fortresses of lots of cultural manifestations of Brazil. Like that. So, and I grew like that, and that doing capoeira. There's a lot of things in my life, but predominantly it's capoeira. And I did that. I had a school I grew up in, and I was a student of Mestre Bima. This year I'll make 60 years that I crossed the steps of the school of Mestre Bima.
Wow.
And since then I have been around doing capoeira. I have some school, strain, ups and downs. All the trajectory that someone that decided to teach capoeira passed. And then I decided that and did other things in my life too, but always capoeira was present. And I have been here in the United States for a long time. This year I will make 40 years that I come in here. I cannot believe in that.
Time flies.
I can't. It is practically impossible. The life is moving so fast that I cannot catch up with.
Well, you have done a lot of things for sure you are catching up.
I don't know what to be saying. I'm not an idea in what I'm going to do. Right now I have been dwelling with a film about the B2B. The project B2B was from Berkeley to Bahia by bicycle. And we filmed too much. I had a plan and I needed to adapt it to the reality. My plan was a journey of introspection. So I was to reevaluate myself, how I'm doing capoeira, how my life went, what I could do to improve, to be a better teacher or a better person. And suddenly, a bunch of people wants to come with me. And we left But the first station of the metro, a whole bunch of them returned. But we went, and 8 of those who left, we arrived. So what I wanted to do, that was this introspection, was hijacked. In reality, I become one kind of a leader of a group, a kind of a father, a mestre de capoeira, and I don't want to say that was bad, it was so good, it was
different,
amazing, fantastic, extraordinary, but changed my concept, what I wanted to do. So that 5 years from now, I decided to do from Bahia to Berkeley.
Wow!
So when I left, it was to commemorate my 70 years. Huh? And now I am 75. I wait 5 more years and I come from Bahia to here, and then I can conclude the story.
That will be definitely something to look forward to.
Yes, we saw how much capoeira is spread all over the Americas, and that was fantastic. Had extraordinary reception in all the countries that I passed by. We had here in California 9 capoeira events. In Mexico, we did so many workshops because the number of schools is great. And Colombia was wonderful. Every place that we passed was extraordinary. And we see capoeira, how capoeira is spread through the world. So, and that way of life of myself is very interesting, because every day I look at the young people doing capoeira. So sometimes when I look at the mirror, look at myself, say, who is this guy? Because I always see these young people that use capoeira all over the place. It is extraordinary. So my life has been to be a capoeirista that enjoy to play capoeira, to talk about capoeira, to have the students, to tell stories. That's it. There is much more in other areas, everything, so, but it's, that's what I am more comfortable.
Of course, there are much more areas, Mestre. You were also the first one to write a book, a capoeira book in English, and maybe that was something that it was by default because you were living already here, but that's so important that people from other languages can have access to capoeira.
I know, I did it. I think that I was the first one to write about capoeira in the English language. So, and I did that for one reason. To teach movements of the capoeira is not too complicated. However, the cultural aspects, what we don't say, because the movements are the tip of the iceberg, capoeira itself, it is that thing extraordinary that you cannot say. The environment where capoeira has been thriving throughout so much time. And so I did the book in this direction to help my students to understand capoeira, not a cooking book or a recipe things. You needed to do the movement this way or that way.
Well, Mestre, it's all of this all around that makes one of the most famous capoeiristas in the world. Regarding capoeira heritage, what do you think, especially that, what you said, the tip of the iceberg and then the rest, what do you think is important to pass from generation to generation about capoeira? What are the key focus?
I also must tell you that I'm not a historian. I just read the books, capoeira, documentário, or something like that. I have ideas and about the trajectory of a capoeira, and I can see that there is a development. I think when you do not have movement, So we come back, we disappear. That's happening with many cultural expressions of the African Brazilians. Some time ago, the Radio Cultura from Bahia recording a series of music from those manifestations. Dozens of that, I do not remember right now. And we do not have Quixabeira, you do not have more Ubumbo around Salvador that used to be, we do not have more batuques, maculele was lost for a long time, because they were not practicing capoeira. In some ways, could get discern throughout the time. So a dress changed. So different uniforms, different way of thinking, but this does not make capoeira spread and completely apart. Means that you focus a little bit in some aspects of the capoeira, one way of interpreting, but the origin, the elements of the capoeira are still there. More recently, I see movements that I'm not entirely happy with. It is like that we want to focus in things that does not touching the essence of the capoeira. For me, capoeira is one art that fundamentally helps you to learn how to learn capoeira. It is not just an European approach to teaching, that you do everything very strictly and you need to put your foot here and foot there, and you do a better jump, a better rasteio, a better things like that. I think that this is a little derivation of the capoeira, of that characteristic that is capoeira teach us. Is a teaching method for the life, for the people to become more conscious of reality, more conscious about themselves, more with more self-esteem, with more self-respect, with a lot of things. That's the way that I see capoeira. And then if you just want to focus and develop techniques, when I look the internet and I see hundreds of teachers teaching this, teaching that, teaching the same, then I feel that we are getting flat. The words are getting flat. So you do not see too much differences in these things. So the mechanism, the way of it doing is become the same. So when I teach capoeira, what I would like the most, it is not to create everybody with, let's say, one ginga that's the same, most efficient or more beautiful, or I don't know. I think those things are a question of individual people. So we cannot say that yellow is more beautiful than green. Or you can say that karate is better than boxing, box is better than capoeira, capoeira is better than this or that. Because those are preferences of the persons. You may like blue, I may like the yellow. And so, what is the better one? Blue or yellow? So, what is the best capoeira? It is play close to the ground or the play up? Is more for the dance aspects of the capoeira, or more the size of a self-defense or fight, or a little bit more challenge activity? So each of us has a different point of view, and look at that in capoeira. And to me, the conservation of it, that openness of the capoeira to accept everybody, it is fantastic. So because we are changing society, we are changing the thinking of the people. We are changing not in the sense that you do, no, you will be better, you have it, today is politically correct, all this for me does not make sense. But I'll say for you to become a better person, for you to have more respect for yourself, for you to have more respect for the other person, for you to be able to be creative through one art that's so multidimensional as capoeira.
And so capoeira, you wouldn't encapsulate it in sport, culture, folklore. How would you define it?
Cannot be defined like that. So, as I say, it's something that have a different point of view and approach. People that like sport will find it in capoeira. People that like just the dance, they will find in capoeira. People that like the music, they will find in capoeira. People that would like to fight, to be able to be a fighter, a warrior, because something that is coming from the nature of the human being.
What would you think, what's your opinion on the students that come and just want to focus in one aspect of capoeira, for example, the sport and movement, or they might just be interested in the music? How would this be approached by the teachers?
So, what can you do? All of us have the right to make choices in life. Someone wants to be more specialist, someone wants to be more generalist. One knows everything about nothing, and the other knows nothing about everything. That's the way that the things go. So if someone wants to use any aspect of the capoeira, their desire. Of course, if someone decided to do everything, will try, you will not be as a specialist as someone that dedicated the time to one aspect. I think that the teacher should not force anybody else one direction or the other. They needed to say, look, this is capoeira. That's what you do. That's the way that I do. If you like the way that I do, you stay with me. If you like the way to do different, then do different. There is not an absolute decisive way for you to teach capoeira, because capoeira is life. And there is a lot of adjustment in and out, with ginga, mandinga, malícia. This is the jogo of life. A roda de capoeira is a metaphor for that. Everything that happens in life happens in the roda. Only that the universe is more contained and the consequences of the mistakes are less dangerous.
Mestre, and I know there are many theories about capoeira origins, and you just mentioned before you are not a historian, but from your research, what is your point of view? Can you tell us a little bit, and how this evolved?
At this point, there is a lot of ideas, and some ideas make sense, some other does not make sense. What I think that makes sense to me are all places in the diaspora path that is things that represents the culture of the African that were enslaved at the time. Right? And those things influenced in many areas, in the food, in the way of thinking, in the physical characteristics of the people, etc. We know for sure that the capoeira is a derivation from that seeds. However, in another environment, she manifested a little bit different. For we talk about lancha in Martinique, we talk about mani in Cuba, in the United States, there's something that kicking in knocks, that there is similarity of capoeira. But what we call capoeira is a result of that combination of things, of the roots of the capoeira and the things that we are finding here in Brazil. It's specific, it's not generic. Then that's what I think about. So the story that the people came, the idea, then contact with the different aspects of Brazil at the time. I think that I have heard everything about the origin of the capoeira, but nobody can prove anything. And you will have an idea, and I think that perhaps it's good from a political point of view, but some knowledgeable, rational point of view, we should not to impose anything in the other person in terms of the education. You can say, I can say, this is my opinion, you have your opinion. This is my school. In my school, I wanted that you come with the uniform, but come and told the student to me, Settlement, you never used uniform before. I said, yes, but for a little while I haven't been used. I trained in capoeira without uniform. It was not in my time. I was in the street clothes, and I went to the school. That's it. There was no uniform. I never saw capoeira with a uniform. This happened in 1970.
And what do you think of uniforms nowadays?
I think that from one side is good, because you identify, because the people get in one community, and that community is the share of ideas and beliefs and whatever it is, and you can have hundreds of communities to different approach, but it is, in my point of view, difficult to accept that we need to look at the thing as a whole and you can do everything. You never will be a capoeirista that will be excellent in all the areas, and you never should say that my logo is more beautiful, or without the uniform I am not a capoeirista, or that the uniform is impeding me to do capoeira. Those are talks that I do not agree. But we accept, because everybody has the right to have their own opinion. Your opinion, I remember what my father told me. My father was an extraordinary man too. And I never talk about my father or my parents or some teachers that I have in other areas that were wonderful people I was surrounded. I had a lot of gifts in my life, including Mestre Bimbo, that was my teacher, in my only teacher in capoeira. And but my father, they said, my son, we live in a democracy, and all of us have the right to be stupid. It's your own taste decision. So you can think whatever you want, you have the right to do so. You should not impose, no, capoeira is this, you need to do that, it is the foundation. What foundation? To use an atabaque with ropes? This is no thing. My time atabaques was not present in capoeira, principally because I was in Bahia. And the Bahia was a little lazy to get an atabaque in the back to make a round in the street. The berimbau was already too heavy. In pandeiro, a little better. Alma, even better. Capoeira has developed in many areas. Some things get extraordinary. The people run fast, the people jump higher, the people go up in the space. So the parameter of the possibility of all human beings has been expanded tremendously in every athletic area, in everything. You know? So capoeira also goes in that boat. You know? the movements get fast, get more interesting. The specialization makes you to be more competent in one specific area. So you cannot do everything simultaneously, but your choices go like that. So, but we will try and impose ideas. This is what I think. I think today we say, you have a capoeira regional do Mestre Bimba. I don't know. I don't do the capoeira regional of Mestre Bimba exactly, because o Mestre had different moments that he had different opinions, ideas. I remember when I got to the school of Mestre, we had one way we do things, and my generation influenced in another direction that keep it going. So, and then I cannot say the capoeira of Mestre Bimba. I needed to go back in time. It's impossible. So we have today what we call capoeira regional contemporânea. But this contemporânea is not a style. It's just today's capoeira. So the same thing I tell this with the capoeira Angola that you call capoeira Angola today. The capoeira Angola contemporânea. The capoeira Angola that I see, that I played, that in my time in Bahia, was not exactly what is done today. So there is a discourse, there is one philosophy, there is one perspective, there is a tendency, there is a bias, because we do that. So as a group in different areas, we are adhering to areas that we like the most.
And what do you see other trends in capoeira? Well, some contemporary trends. What do you see? Some negative trends, some positive trends?
What is negative and what is positive? That's the question.
With capoeira expansion, now recognized by the UNESCO, the Roda of Capoeira, nowadays many federations, many competitions. Is there a risk that capoeira is losing the essence, or do you see this expansion very positive?
Don't put me in that situation because to explain it takes a long time. Okay, the capoeira is developing. The human being is developing. Let's make a parenthesis here. And let me tell you, capoeira is not like that medicine that heals everything. In reality, capoeira, it is one art that is modified by the people that practice. So the moment, the society, the belief, the direction, change the people, and the people change what they do, and they change the capoeira. It's not capoeira that guides you, it's you who guides capoeira. That's the reality. And then, what capoeira happened today, it is progress, improve specialities, improve a span of a possibility, goes in many areas. What you can do, you will defend your point of view. And your point of view could be completely different from mine. But I will defend a point of view, you will defend your point of view. I cannot tell that you are absolutely wrong, it's good or bad, because this is a value judgment. How come I make a value judgment what you think? The teacher in the school will tell their students what the teachers believe. That's the right. What's the right for that teacher? So you cannot open everything and it is, this become a mixture that there is no value. I don't think that it is. Since that the soul of the capoeira remain present. That's that I'm talking in the beginning of the saying. What I feel that's not very positive to capoeira Characterize the values, ethnical, and the ancestrality of capoeira, the way we see the life through the eyes of a culture that's not European. Okay? So you can go, for example, in judo, you go in the Asian point of view. You go in Greco-Roman, is another thing. You go in box, is another thing. You go in capoeira, you need to have your us to the African culture in Brazil.
To finish off, two more questions. One, I would like you to share a message to the students that are starting with capoeira in the world. And the second one advice to the people, to the capoeiristas that want to live from capoeira. What could you recommend them to succeed?
That's very simple. Practice.
To both of them, students and teachers.
Practice. For the teacher, be patient and be receptive to the idea of everybody, and try to construct your way of thinking and present capoeira now not as a truth above all, but your opinion. You have the right to have your opinion, I have the right to have my opinion, and all of us have the right to have our opinions. We have people that agree with us, and then you can walk together, but there is people that is in another direction, and they have the right to do so.
Great. Mestre, anything else that you would like to share before we finish off for today?
Yes.
Great, please do.
Deus é o maior e grande João. Let's not forget o mestre João Grande, the icon of capoeira today. He's 85 years old and has been doing capoeira throughout his life. Beautiful capoeirista, beautiful person, beautiful character. And he's getting the end of life, and we are doing this movement to help him, to tell him how much we love him for his dedication to capoeira. And I tell the new teachers and everybody to have people like Mestre João Grande to be an example of what to be a capoeirista.
Great. Thank you very much, Mestre, for opening your doors and your time. Thank you. I'm sure that this will be very good received.
Now, for you, I would like to do everything again.